Hello everyone. For this video, I had got a comment from a subscriber, a new subscriber, who was asking me about some information that he is trying to understand and learn. Right? So this video is going to be about who are the Nilotic people of Africa. The Nilotic people, the blue, so-called black hue of the skin, not color, but I mean the hue of the skin, because everybody's brown, right? The blue black people of Nilotic of Africa, right? And the Nilotic group is not just primarily in what we call a South Sudan. They're also scattered within the southern and central Africa, western part of Africa, like the Senegal, Gambia area. I've actually met some people who are Nilotic that come from Senegal. Because at first, they had told me, and I thought that Nilotic people came from South Sudan, but they actually were in the West Africa area and mixed in within Kenya, central to Masai. Do you see what I'm saying? So, but let's get to the comment, right? So we're going to go to his comment. If I can find it. Okay. So I just found out about your channel a few days, and I was wondering if you could do a video about us Nilotic people and where do we come from, because I know it's very natural of human being to migrate somewhere else. So yes, humans or people have always been nomadic. All right, so first off, right? Okay, so first off, there was a video posted by YouTuber Lex Will on his old channel, or what Lex Will the Servant, where he explained the 3 to 4 videos of the origin of the Nilotic people in Africa. And they actually came from India, which is in the continent of Asia. Yes, the continent of India, Pakistan, and I even learned some parts of China. But the thing is, that video has been destroyed. I mean, not destroyed, but his channel was terminated. And the video was on that channel, and he doesn't have it available now. I'm pretty sure he still has the video. Hopefully he can repost them, because they won't take that down. But right now he doesn't have it, so I'm gonna try to make a video of what of the information I attained from the video, so you can understand where your people come from, right? Reason I'm saying your people, because you say you're Nilotic, so, and I know not everybody's Nilotic. So let's start off, right? So before we get to that, we must have a understanding of what Shem is, okay? All right. Shem. Remember, Shem is the Afro-Asiatic, the Negro, the red, ruddy skinned Negro. Right, and I'm gonna try to pull up the photo of what, let me see if I can find a photo of the two. Alright, so you see this? This is what a Shemite man would have looked like. Red, right? Ruddy. Afro hair, beard. This is, that's my granddad. That is what a Afro haired woman would look like, right? So humans started out red, ruddy, right? Red, ruddy, with beards, smooth skin, no hair on the body, right? This is what Shemites look like. Okay? Right? So Shem is the Negro. So we're going to pull up the Zondervan Dictionary. Zondervan Dictionary of Ham and the Negro. Alright, what does it say? Ham, perhaps hot, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. His industry when his father lay drunken brought a curse upon Canaan. Alright? But here's the misunderstanding, right? Right? So, remember, there's an island in Philippines called Negros. Right? Oh, I did Maine. That's not it. In Philippines, Negros. What continent? That's in Asia. So I mean, you know, the Shem is the Afro-Asian, right, from Asia. Ham or Cham, right? They taught you that Ham people, right? If I type Ham people, it's gonna show black African people. However, we know that a Negro is a person that grows Afro hair, right? This is a Negro. That is a Negro. That's a Negro woman. And then if I can get this, okay, and that's a Negro man. That's what Shem is, right? Shem the Negro, right? And then Ham, I don't have a picture. When you type Cham, because that's the translation, Cham people. When you type Cham people, it shows you Asians or Mongoloid, and you know, these are real Hamites. If we go to Hamites, right? Go to Wikipedia, right? Right? They're categorized as Negroids, right? I'm not trying to make this video too long, but what I'm trying to tell you, sir, and everybody that's watching, is that if you don't look like this, right? If you don't look like him or her, you are mixed as a black person. Now, it's a different type of mix, but I'm saying you're not a full Shemite if you don't look like him or her. Okay? So and pretty much all of us are mixed, right? So, right? So I want to get an understanding. Cham, these are Chamites. Remember, Cham had, right, Ham sons in the Bible. Cush, Mizraim, put Canaan. Cush, right? Cush, Hindu, Cush. There's a mountain range in Asia. People of India. There go your real Cushites, right? Now they're lighter because they mix with lighter people, but they used to be dark. We just learned about the Asur people, Egypt. Another, from my opinion, another branch of Egyptians, the Asur people, right? This is a Hamite. Anything with straight hair and dark skin is a Hamite, right? Canaan, China, Senna, right? China, my bad. China etymology, right? China derives from the Sanskrit word Sena, which likely were used to describe the country after the Qin dynasty, pronounced Qin, right? They named it after their forefather's name, Sin, a son of Canaan. Modern Chinese today are Canaanites, right? So I'm saying, and then you got the Irula people. These are Cushites. They're not black people. These are not Negroes. These are Cushites. So I'm saying this verse, right? It was talking about, right? not the Negroes. Negroes grow Afro hair, not straight hair. Ham, yes, it's the dark races, but they grow straight hair. That's what a Hamite is. Let me show you. If I could find it. Right? So again, other scholars believe that the African Great Lakes and part Central Africa invaded Hamites from North Africa and Horn Africa had mixed with local Negro women to produce several hybrid Hamiticized Negro populations. Half Negro, half Hamite, right? What is a Hamite? A straight haired, dark skinned person. What is Hamitic features? I'm trying to find where it talked about what is Hamitic features. Here it is. According to Kuhn, typical Hamitic physical traits included narrow facial features, an orgothenous visage, light to brown dark skin tone, wavy, curly, or straight hair. The reason you got curly there is because when you mix Afro hair with straight hair, it makes a different type of curl. That's not tight, right? So I'm saying from this sentence, the Hamitic is coming from the straight hair. Afro curly is coming from the Negro, which came from Asia. And I'm going to say it, all right? So now since we understand that now, right? Shem was a Negro like this. And where's the other one? Like him, right? And then Shem had Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. Just know that they all looked like him and her somewhat, right? Now, well, they all came from the lineage of the red Negro, right? Remember, I'm not really gonna get into these. I'd rather Lex will make a video or post about this, but I'm gonna try to get into. Gotta get some biblical scriptures, but just know that this lineage went down all the way to Abraham. I mean Terah. My bad, Terah. So Terah, right? Terah looked like this. I mean, no, my bad. Terah looked like him, either a little bit darker or this color, right? Then Terah had Nahor, and Abraham and Haran. Then Abraham had Isaac, and then Esau, Jacob. Both Esau, Jacob looked like him. Just Esau was hairy, right? So Esau's not white, he's hairy. But now we get to Haran, right? Haran had Lot. Lot looked like this. He looked like him. Alright? Lot looked like him. However, if you read the story about Lot, right? What happened with Lot? What happened with Lot? Right? In the Bible's book of Genesis, Abraham's nephew Lot lost everything. He barely escaped the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, where his wife died looking back, right? Fleeing Sodom, right? Life in the mountains, right? Fearing for his life, Lot abandoned a temporary refuge in Zoar and moved his family to a mountain cave, thinking that they were the only survivors on earth. His two daughters conspired to get him intoxicated on wine over 2 nights to conceive children, preserving their family line. The resulting nations, the incestuous union resulted in 2 sons, Moab, Ben, and Ammon. Right? So, Lot had 2 sons out of wedlock. I mean, out from his daughters, from incest. Moab and Ammon. And yes, Lot was Negro. Right? So, this is what the Hebrew Israelites don't tell you. All these people from Shem, Elam, Ashur, Lud, they were all Negro, including Arphaxad down to Joktan, Negro. Haran, Abraham, Nahor, Negroes. Ishmael, Isaac, Lot, Negroes, alright? Now let's get to Nilotic people now, since we understand what a Negro is, right? So since we know Negroes look like him and her, coming from Asia, right? Let's get to Nilotic now. Alright, so Nilotic, right? Nilotic people. Alright, so we're going to get to the key word. Nilotic. Lot. So we take the space out. Right? Take it out, the I. The key word right there. Lot. Yes, they are the descendants of Lot. Okay? And we're gonna prove it from what we learned from Lexo video. So if you didn't know, the Nilotic people, right?
We in here. Where are the hardest arenas to play?
The altitude in Denver is no joke.
Until today, I always thought that the world's tallest people were in Holland and Latvia. And then I came to the country of South Sudan, and I can't even touch the top of their heads.
Alright, so look. They are the world's tallest humans, right? Very dark too. Blue black, right? World's tallest
Sudan,
human.
as you
Beautiful
can
skin
see,
color.
is a very
amazing
land
height,
of the tall
right?
and dark. That's first thing you're gonna see.
And women averaging well.
But here's what they're not telling you. The Hebrew Israelite people, they will call them Ham because they're dark skinned and they can't grow beards, because this is what the Negro looks like, right? But what they don't tell you is that they grow Afro-textured hair. Watch this. Winyan Gabriel has Afro-textured hair. He's a Nilotic man. Afro-textured hair. He has the same hair as him, but he's very dark and can't probably grow a beard. We're gonna do Machop Chol for Atlanta United. I met his brother before, right? So he's from Atlanta, right? Very dark, beautiful skin, right? Look at his hair. It matches the same texture as his hair, right? It's just the difference is he's dark, he's red, and he can't grow a beard. Alright? Now, if we're going to explain why he can't grow a beard and afro, and why can't he grow an afro, right? Why can't they grow beards, and why are they super dark, right? So remember, they are the world's tallest humans. Alright? So, give me a second, guys. Alright, here we go. So we're going to pull up this scripture first. Giants in Moab. Bible. Okay. In the Bible, the origin giants who inhabited the region of Moab were a fearsome aboriginal people called the Emim. They were part of a larger group of giants known as the Raphaim, and were historically renowned for being as tall and numerous as the Anakim. Alright? The main details regarding the giants in Moab include the Emim. Their name translates to terrors or terrifying ones. Right? Biblical references. Their existence and history are specifically recorded in Deuteronomy 2:10-11. The passage knows that the Anakim, they were counted as Raphaim, Moab by name, while the Israelites and other groups knew them by their stature. The native Moabs called them Emim, conquest of the giants. According to the scripture, long before the arrival of Moses and the Israelites, the Emim were wiped out by the Moabites. The Emim were wiped out by the Moabites. The Emim were wiped out by the Moabites. And I did not put up to slow speed. I did that with my voice. Who were the descendants of what? Lot. The Moabites then took over the land and settled in their place. Okay? So, we just learned, right? So we learned that the Nilotic people are the tallest humans, darkest humans in the world. Remember, most African people, or most black people in Africa, don't get that dark. They get up to a very dark color, but they don't get this dark. This is a rare skin color. This is rare. Because most humans start out red, right? What skin color are most black Africans? Brown skin, right? Is deep pigmented black skin rare in Africa? Okay, now, alright, so they're saying it's not rare, but they're bringing up the Nilotic people, right? But I'm saying that when we're talking about, right, jet black skin, right? When we're talking about people like, what's her name, that model? I'm trying to find her. This is a rare skin color. That is rare, right? That's a rare color, right? So I'm saying most Negroes worldwide, and especially in Africa, are brown. They're not that dark. Because Negroes are red, brown. Adama, right? Alright. Since we got that clear, now we can get to the, since we know that, you know, Nilotic is children of Lot, right? Nilotic means children of Lot, descendants of Lot. That's why Lot's in the name. And Lot went into the giants, right? The giants came within the land of Moab, right? And, no, my bad. The Emim were wiped out by the Moabites, who were the descendants of Lot, right? Since we learned that the Emim were giants, and we know that Negroes are red, which means if you grow Afro hair, you're a Negro, but not all of us are red, then that means the Moabites, children of Lot, Nilotic, mixed with the Emim, right? They mixed with the giants. So this is why they went from this to this, right? They went to this tall, tall, dark, right? Tall and very dark. That's why they don't look like the Negro. They became very tall, very dark, lack of facial hair, right? So that's why they're the tallest people in the world, and they're darkest, because they mixed in with the fallen angel, the Nephilim, the Emim, the giants. If they did not mix in with them, they would still be looking like this, just a little bit more incestuous, because Lot, Lot's daughters intoxicated him. So what I'm saying is, according to Scripture, long before the arrival of Moses and the Israelites, the Emim were wiped out by the Moabites, who were the descendants of Lot. The Moabites then took over the land and settled in their place. Right? So when the Moabites wiped out the giants, they took daughters of the giants, or women of the giants, mixed in with them, and became this. Which means they are still Negro, just a Negroid. That's why Nilotic people, even though they're still kind of pure, right? They're still considered Negroid because they have an uncommonly phenotype that is categorized as very dark, tall, and Hamitic. Can't grow beard, right? I'm not saying that all Nilotic people can. I'm just saying most of them can never grow facial hair. They're very super abnormally tall, have slender bodies, very dark skin, right? But they're still Negroes because they have Afro textured hair, which means they're not Ham. They're just mixed in. They're not even mixed in with Ham because they don't have straight. Remember, guys, Ham has straight hair. Ham has straight wavy hair. They're not even mixed in with Ham. They're mixed in with the giants that were tall and dark. All right. So, viewer, if you're still listening, your people mixed in with the giants. So don't listen to those dumb Hebrew Israelites telling you the reason that they're dark because they Ham. No, you guys are dark because y'all mixed in with the aliens or the giants, and y'all became darker, taller. So y'all were Negroes. Then you mutated and became a Negroid, But a Negro, but the Pacific Negroid mixture you have is coming from a giant, a dark skinned giant, right? So yeah, you guys are Negroes. It's just you guys are mixed, but not mixed in the case where you're not, where you can't grow Afro hair, right? All right, now let's get to Nilotic people who are of Lot. Remember, I want to make this clear, of Lot, right? Moab and Ammon. Let's get to how Nilotic people, where they actually come from. So a lot of people think Nilotic people come from South Sudan. All right. Now from Lex Will's video, right? And this might blow your mind, Nilotic people that are watching, children of Lot. This might blow your mind. Watch this. And I learned this from him. There's a plant called the Nilotica, located in Africa, Middle East, and Indian subcontinent. Yes, there's a plant called the Nilotica in Indian subcontinent, right? Right. So, plant India. Right. The Nilotica plant, officially known as the Vachellia nilotica, formerly Acacia nilotica, is a highly valued, multi-purpose tree widely distributed across the Indian subcontinent. In India, it is primarily known as the Babel or Kikar. Doesn't that sound like Babel, Tower of Babel? Don't that sound like that, right? So, yeah, it's found in India. Okay? It thrives arid, semi-arid regions and is commonly found in dry scrublands across the Rajasthan, Gujarat, Karnataka, and Maharashtra. Alright? So now look. Babel Kikar, right? So this is where the Nilotic plant was found in India, right? Why would it be found in India? Because their name, there's a plant named Nilotica. So that means y'all ancestors named this plant in you guys' region, right? Because that's where you guys are from, India. Alright, now let's get the Nilotica. I mean, my bad, the Neolite, was it I can't believe, I forgot what he did. This is gonna be the harder one to do, but Neolite Asia. Okay, that's not the one I'm looking for. So we're gonna do Nilgiri district, right? There's a district in southern India, state of Tamil Nadu. The Nilagiri Blue Mountains is the name given to a range of mountains spread across the borders among the states of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Kerala. The Nilgiri Hills are part of a larger mountain known as the Western Ghats, right? And then you have the Nilgiri Mountains. The Nilgiri Mountains form a part of the Western Ghats in northwestern Tamil Nadu, southern Karnataka, and eastern Kerala in South India. The word Nilgiri is derived from the Sanskrit words Nila, blue, Giri. Hold up, guys. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, the word Nilgiri is derived from the Sanskrit words Nila, blue, and Giri, mountain. It's thought that bluish flowers of Corrigan shrubs gave it to that name. Right? Now they want to tell you this, but there's plenty of gods, right? Right? So we're gonna get to the blue god, right? Blue god of India. right? Lord Vishnu, right? And his earthly incarnation. The preserver of the universe, often depicted as having dark cloud, blue blood. That's referring to Lot. Now, I think it's referring to Lot because if you don't know, right, non-people of man. Remember, man is the man with afro hair. The people who don't usually look like this, I'm gonna type it, black people, right? All these different people who don't look like this typically worship us. Okay, they worship man. They worship a man. Okay, us, we don't usually worship other people. What we do, we either worship ourselves or we worship something that does not exist. Okay? We either worship a statue, the sun, moon, star. That's what we do. The other races or the humans, they worship us. So when you see Lord Vishnu and all this other stuff, Kali, Krishna, Rama, they're worshiping us, and they're not worshiping, we don't do that. We worship the stars, moons, and that's how we end up losing our lands. We're supposed to worship the Most High, the Creator, the person who made this entire planet, the water, the trees, the bushes. We're supposed to worship Him. Not supposed to worship the stars, sun, and people who don't exist. Right? And that's why we're not in Asia no more. Yes, every Afro person except for even the Fijians and the Papua New Guineans, they're not in their lands anymore because they worshipped things other than the Most High. But the Gentile, I can't say Gentile, the non-people of man, what their problem is, they're worshiping us. So they're trying to do it, so I'm saying, right, I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. And then when we get to the indigenous Southeast Asians, right, who are the indigenous Southeast Asians? See, they're going to talk about the Negritos and the Andamanese people. Where is it? They're not saying it right here, but the Andamanese. So the Negritos and the Andamanese people are the indigenous people of Southeast Asia. Right? If we show the Andamanese people, right, they're very dark too. These are Nilotic people, right? These are Nilotic people. They're just shorter. I'm not sure how they mix with other ethnic groups that were, shorter, right? These are children of Lot too, found in India, right? The shorter ones were able to stay. The Nilotic people, the bigger, taller, were kicked out and put in Africa. Yep. You guys were put out of Asia and put in Africa. These dudes, they stayed. You see how dark they are, right? These are Nilotic people too. Now they call them Andamanese, but I keep trying to tell you, there's a plant called Nilotica. So what it was, when they were kicking all the Negroes out, and the blue black Negroes, they escaped to islands. This is why they're on the Bay of the Bengal and the Nicobar Islands, because they did not want to get put out and die. So they got there, and this is why anybody that goes down there and mess with them, I don't even know how they got all these pictures. Now I understand they could just blow up the thing and they're all dead, but come on now, like, if you go down here, you're done. They're not missing, bro. They're hitting you in the head, right? So that's why they're serious. of not coming mess with, because they know their land's gone. They're gonna be put in Africa like the Nilotic people. They're brothers, right? So, yeah, this is just phenotypical evidence that more Nilotic people that are located in, in India. Now the next thing, okay, what you call it? I'm gonna bring this up. So in my last video, I had said that what did I say? Here it is. I had said Gears District in Tamil India, right? Right. There's a mountain. There's a temple in Cambodia called the Prasat Niang Kamu, right? Niang. So Niang is a river in South Sudan, right? South Sudan, right? So, and I'm saying there's a Niang in Cambodia, right? Called the Niang Kamu, which means Black Lady, Temple of Black Lady, Egypt worship, Mother Goddess, right? But there's also a Niang in China, and if you didn't know, China is actually Egypt, okay? China is actually Egypt. So China, right? I'm trying to type it. See that? The Niang River, right? In China, right? The largest of the Yarline Tsangpo. Okay? So I theorized that the Nilotic people were also in this area too, because they have Niang in South Sudan, right? And in Cambodia as well. Now, as far as like the other branch of, so if you didn't know, there's another branch of Nilotic people called the Maurya tribe, right? Moor, sounds like Moor. If you didn't know, the Moabites were Moors, if you didn't know that. Moabites were Moors and Edomites were Moors. These are also Nilotic people. They're just mixed in with Hamites or Asians. When they mixed in with them, they became more lighter, but more redder, but still dark. And they live in India today. And they were able to stay in India because they mixed in with Hamites. And that's why these Nilotic people are still there. But they're more Hindu looking now. But these are Nilotic people. And then also, you also have the Chung people of Cambodia, right? Chung people of Cambodia. These are Cambodians. Now, I theorize that I'm just theorizing, like these Cambodians, Chung people, dark. I theorize that the Chung people of Cambodia, I'm trying to find the dark skin Cambodia. I theorize that these people are of Lot 2. I could be wrong, because they have a place called Niang in China and Niang in Cambodia, right? So, yeah. And then the last evidence. Here's where the Hebrew Israelites don't tell you. Guess what? There's another blue-black people in the Pacific Islands, right? Oops, Bougainville people, right? Called, right? See her skin? Very dark. See their skins? Very, very dark, right? And they live in the Pacific Islands of Melanesia. But here's what they don't tell you. They're called Negroes. They are called Negroes. Yes. They are called Negroes. Yeah. And IUIC and ISPK don't tell you that, because you know what they'll do? They'll call them Hamites. But these ain't Ham. These are Negroes. They're actually more Negro than Nilotic people. They just, right? See, look, the blackest people in the world aren't in Africa, but here, right? But you also have really dark-skinned people in Andamanese. They're, Now these are of Abraham, but they just mixed in with other groups that caused them to become very dark. Nilotic people are a lot. So right, you know. So I'm saying you still have very, very dark people in Asia or off the coast of Asia today, and they're not even of lot, and they're not even from Africa. So that's all I was trying to tell you, sir. That, you know, Nilotic people are from Asia. They were pushed out of Africa by the Hamites, and they're pushed out by other Africans. Yes, the Ashurites, Elamites, and other Edomite tribes pushed you guys into Africa. Right? So yes, this is who Nilotic people are. People from India, Pakistan, and China. Moabites, children of Lot. That's it, and I'm out.